Hello and welcome to Asia Gaming Brief's face-to-face series. With me today I have Andrew Klebanow, who is an independent gaming consultant. He's currently based in Las Vegas, but also has a long history of operations in Asia and projects in Asia. So welcome, Andrew. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Firstly, what's it like being in Las Vegas right now?
It's odd. It is. I hate to use the word depressing, but it is. This economy, this city, and the gaming industry was severely impacted by the pandemic. If one were to drive down Las Vegas Boulevard midweek, one would see empty streets, virtually empty streets, it changes on the weekends when there's some degree of tourism coming in from Southern California and Arizona, some of the drive-in markets, some of the shorter flying markets. But overall, the Las Vegas tourism industry was severely impacted by the pandemic. Other markets, not so much in the U.S., but Las Vegas was severely impacted.
Are you seeing any signs of anything coming back?
I've said this before in the articles that I've written over the last year and in consultations. Las Vegas in particular will come back once there is a safe and effective vaccine coursing through the veins of 70% of the U.S. population.
Are any companies at risk on the Strip, do you think?
I'm not, my specialty is not the examination of balance sheets, but there comes a point where cash flow becomes an issue. One can easily reduce expenses and lay people off, close hotel rooms, shut down restaurants, focus on only the most profitable operations, and be positive cash flow. But for many of these operators, there is a sizable debt service that they have to pay, and there are notes that must be paid every month. So there are some organizations that have what we call good balance sheets, where they have the available cash to maintain debt service. And there are others that are stressed.
Right. Is it the time for mergers and acquisitions, do you think?
Oh, I certainly think so. I certainly think there's an opportunity for those gaming companies that have good, strong balance sheets and have access to capital to acquire properties. Yes.
Right. And at what point do you think we'll see that happening?
I think it's an ongoing process, and you're going to see it throughout 2021 and maybe into 2022.
We did see, we've obviously seen at the beginning of this year, a big bid from MGM trying to buy up an English online gaming company. And that was a big price tag they put on there. Do you see much more of that going forward as a trend, that sort of online convergence from the US operators?
I think the United States gaming operators are finally realizing the importance of online. The pandemic really, woke us up to this online gaming component. And state governments who are dependent on gaming tax revenue are now open to expanding this realm.
Thinking about it. Okay. Yeah. Well, go back to the land-based arena for a moment. Obviously, you're supposed to have a very big opening in Las Vegas come this summer with the Resorts World Las Vegas property supposed to open its doors. Are you hearing anything about that? Is that going ahead as planned? And what reception is there likely to be?
Well, there's an article in the local newspaper yesterday talking about the recruitment effort. Resorts World currently has about 400 people on staff. They are conducting, I think they have 80,000 applicants for the positions that they have there. My guess is they'll probably open up with 6,000 employees. That's basically what the Mirage opened up with and what we've seen in the past. And then that workforce may trim down. But they have 80,000 applicants today that they are working their way through. Opening currently is scheduled for sometime this summer. They are being vague about it. And so it remains to be seen what that timetable will be. Summertime's a good time to open in Las Vegas because people are outdoors. We do, as we did last summer, we did pretty good business on the weekends with drive-in traffic from Southern California. Given that at the slow pace that vaccine administration is going right now, it remains to be seen if summer is going to be a viable time to be back to normal. I don't think normal is going to come back to Las Vegas until well into 2022. We have a lot of catching up to do. So Resorts World may open this summer. It'll probably be late summer. There'll be some excitement around it. Do we then fall back into this rut that we're in right now where we're fairly busy on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and we're dead Monday through Thursdays? That's probably what may happen. So it's all dependent on, for Las Vegas, convention traffic. How quickly can we recover that convention industry business? And that's wholly dependent on how quickly we can get vaccines into the veins of 70% of the US population.
Obviously, there's been a lot of saber rattling from Beijing, warning against targeting nationals to gamble. Has this changed the fundamental business model for many of the integrated resorts in Asia that were?
I certainly think it has. With those laws, to recap, China recently passed a law making it illegal for organizations of people to solicit people to gamble in other countries. Essentially, they're saying we're not going to allow business as usual for the junket promoters doing business in the People's Republic of China. That's a big issue because so much of the gaming revenue derived throughout Asia is generated by junket operators. At one point, Macau had in excess of 70% of gaming revenue generated by junket operators. And that is now down to less than 50%, I think below 45%, still a big chunk. If Macau is to have a quick recovery, it's going to need junket operators to ramp it up and bring people into the city-state. But the laws are going to make it very difficult for junket operators to continue to operate. So what we'll see in Macau is a continued shift to what we call VIP direct, where casino operators are now taking control of their premium customers, taking the risk of providing them credit, and doing business as casinos in Las Vegas and other parts of the world do, and not being so reliant on junket operators. The other countries that are going to be affected by the PRC's new law will be the Philippines, will be the casinos in Korea, and the casinos in Vietnam. They're going to be affected. And the junket operators, the threat of prison can really slow your enthusiasm for growing your business.
Interesting. Lovely. Thanks very much, Andrew. That's fantastic.